Oh, I feel like it has been so long. So today, ignore my nails. They are in desperate need of being redone. Today was our first day back to a normal schedule, meaning just the one kid, and we were excited. I'm going to tell you though, I think the first part of our day was amazing, and then in the last 30 minutes, everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. So as a homeschool mom, I just want to tell y'all to prepare because sometimes things just go wrong. So, like, does anyone else heat up their coffee? I know that's probably kind of gross to some people. My husband thinks it's disgusting. I was reheating my cappuccino, and it completely bubbled over. So I was like, okay, whatever, no big deal. So then we are doing Glory Science project, and nothing happens. Like, you know, it's a kindergarten science project. Sometimes they're kind of rinky. Drop me down to 1 in the comments if you've ever done a kid's science project and you're like, that's it? Like, that's literally was my thought. So then I had promised her I would do a craft with her. Well, at Vacation Bible School last week, she got this cool little turquoise jewelry making thing. So we open it. Well, you have to have some special jewelry tools that don't come in the kit. Do you know how crafty this chick is? Like, zero. I just go buy my jewelry. I ain't trying to make it. So, couldn't do that. So I pulled out another craft, which was like you make a hand mold. And at this point, we're like 0 for 0, right? Like, we are failing at everything we're doing. So I pull out, it's super easy. You add 4 cups of water to the little mold and then 4 cups of water to the plaster. I add the 4 cups of water. We're trying to like massage the bag like it says to. Y'all, nothing is happening. Been years. It's not getting thick at all. So I'm like, well, maybe it'll set up once you pour it. So I pour it where you're supposed to pour it. The container comes with the freaking kit, and it just starts leaking out all over my table. So clearly we did something wrong. So I have white residue all over my table, because then I'm like, well, I gotta do something with you, because we purposely schedule 30 to 45 minutes after every school day where I just do something fun with her. So that could be a science experiment, it could be art. Like, I just sit and have, you know, fun time with her. So I'm like, I don't have time to clean this. I mopped it up with a towel that is sitting in my sink currently. And I was like, you know what, just go get a book. We'll read a book. I can't screw that up. So it has literally been, and then I go to do this live and I cannot find my ring light. Finally, I found it. But of course, I'm flustered because I'm a perfectionist. So I can't find it. Finally find it. And it's like in my daughter's dress up box. Tell me how that works. I don't know. So I wanted this video to like be helpful to somebody. So hopefully that'll encourage you that it doesn't matter how much preparation you do, doesn't matter how much time you put into things, you're going to have days where everything just goes to crap. So it is what it is. Guys, if you went in the contest, share this video and comment down below that you shared. So a little bit of a rant to start with, so I apologize. But again, I feel like it's important when I do these videos for you guys to show like the real life side of homeschooling. It's not always what it looks like on paper. You're gonna have days where it's just chaos and you just love each other through it. So if you've not been into my videos before, my name's Tanya Johnson. I have been teaching for the last 10 plus years, homeschooling only for the last 2.5, I think. Have lots of fun. You can follow me on Instagram at Helping Hearts Homeschooler if you want to see like the day-to-day behind the scenes of homeschooling. Actually, everything is Helping Hearts Homeschooler. That's my brand. So if you want to follow me, there's a Facebook group you can join if you want like hands-on asking questions and you're trying to figure out the homeschool thing. And then there's also a YouTube channel if you're more interested in like curriculum reviews and that kind of stuff. So I do want to announce a couple winners before we hop into this. So for June, everyone that shared the video got put into this, and I didn't flip my camera this time. It says Teach, Love, Inspire. It's just a teacher planner. I showed you guys the inside of this last time. So Jasmine Davis actually won this. So Jasmine, if you can, well, you actually live around here, so you're at my house every Tuesday. So I will just order this and give it to you. So next time you come, I'll let you pick out which one you want since you're here anyways, and we'll get that to you. So for July, we're gonna give away. Oh, and or you can have this, or you can have a Starbucks gift card. But I know you actually homeschool, so this might actually interest you. For July, if you want to share this video, again, you do need to comment down below shared so I can see like who's in the drawing. We're going to be giving away a gratitude journal. So I absolutely love doing this with my daughter. This is just a 3-minute gratitude journal, super, super simple. And of course, if you win and you don't want this, maybe you don't have little kids, or you already have a routine you do for gratitude, or you just think it's stupid. That's okay. Like, we don't have to all agree on everything. Then you can get a Starbucks gift card instead. That's always an option. So, without further ado, oh, and speaking of Starbucks gift card, we had a drawing yesterday for a Starbucks gift card, and Krista K. Taylor, you won that. So if you can just send me your email address, I will get that email to you either tonight or tomorrow. So, pretty excited. So, I wanted to come on here and tell you guys one thing that I wish somebody told me when I started homeschooling. So right now I feel like there's a lot of people homeschooling, not because they chose to, but because that's just the season of life that we're in. So if you're currently homeschooling, drop me a 2 in the comments and let me know how many kids you're homeschooling. Because chances are, if you have more than one kid, they're going to have different learning styles. And I want to go through the different learning styles that there are before I get into the one thing I wish that I knew. And some of y'all already know this. So if you already know these, that's fine. Like, comment along, ask questions. I absolutely love interacting with you guys. So the more comments, the more shares, the more questions, like, the better that the videos go. The first learning style is auditory. So auditory are the kids that they learn best by hearing things. So they're the ones that learn best by read-alouds and audible books and lecture styles. Now, I happened to be one of those kids, which if you are in the public school system, auditory is one of the main ways that they teach you because they have so many kids. That's what they have to do, and that's fine. I'm not hating on public school. I think there's a time and a place for everything. But the teacher's dream are the kids that are auditory, and then the second one, which is reading and writing learning. So, my husband is auditory. That's awesome, and those are the kids that are honestly really easy to teach because you don't have to put that much prep work into it. The second style is reading and writing. So those are the kids that really learn best from writing out their problems on paper and writing spelling words over and over and writing memory verses over and over. Reading sections and answering questions. Like, they really excel in those areas. Now, me, I was an auditory and a reading and writing. Like, those were my two learning styles that were natural to me. I can tell you, I've had students that are auditory and reading and writing, and again, those are the easiest students to teach because what is the easiest style to teach when you have 30 kids in a class? It's the independent work that they can do themselves by reading and writing, and it's the auditory that you can sit and lecture. Because you have so many kids that you got to keep an eye on, those are the easiest styles. So if you naturally learn well with those styles, you're going to excel in a public school system. Now, the third one are the visual learners. Visual learners, they're the ones that learn best by flashcards and charts and anything that they can really see. Now, if you have a really good teacher, they incorporate a lot of visual into their auditory and their reading and writing. Now, they don't make up for the fact that maybe you're not retaining the information because there's not a lot of one-on-one time. Now, again, not hating on public school, I've been there. Just with that many kids and 1 or 2 teachers, it's very hard to do a lot of one-on-one. So as a homeschooler, if you have a child who is a visual learner, and we're going to get into a little bit of how to help them kind of become a lot of these, then you have an awesome opportunity to be able to use flannel graphs, if people still use them. I don't know if they still use them. iPads and different digital learning, flashcards, color wheels. I don't know. There's so many things you can use if your child is visual. The last one, and I don't know why. Okay, the last one is a kinesthetic learner. I think I'm saying it right. We always just said hands-on, but apparently there's a name for it. I don't know why, because you have auditory, reading and writing, visual. You would think the fourth one would just be hands-on, instead of some like fancy name, but it's kinesthetic. So that literally means hands-on. So those are the kids that learn on being able to touch things and do it with their hands. So through experiments and art projects and things that, if you have a group of 30 kids, probably not doing a lot of. Those are usually the kids that are left behind in a group setting because the teacher doesn't have time to sit and do one-on-one, you know, making sure that they're learning. Now, I'm very, very lucky because my daughter is a kinesthetic learner and I do homeschool her. So I learned, because again, guys, I am not a kinesthetic learner. So when I first started teaching her, I just assumed she would be an auditory and a reading and writing, and so many tears came out of that. And so when I finally realized, okay, what we're doing isn't working, here's why, it just helped me a lot. And the one thing that having said that, the one thing I wish I knew when I first started, because it took me about a year to understand this, is you can teach your kids to learn through all 4 avenues. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But I liken it to your hands-on. I liken it to the 4 color personalities, and these are for kids and for adults, but usually adults are the ones that use them. So every adult fits into one of these categories dominantly, and then they have like a sub. Kind of like the Enneagrams, except this is a little bit more accurate. So you have red, which those are very goal-driven and aggressive and like you see it and you're just gonna make it happen. I'm a red. Now the downside to that is I can be not very sympathetic, I can be loud, I can be stubborn. Like y'all that know me, you know I'm a red to a T. The second color is green. Greens are very detail oriented. They're very all about the numbers. Now me, my red and my green are pretty much equal. That is why people laugh at me all the time, but that is why when I decided to do an online like advertising gig, I literally sat and dissected all the compensation plans because I am such a green. Like I was gonna go with the one that paid me the most, period. There are dozens of companies that do similar things and their compensation plans all vary. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be done with this. Like I'm going with the one that pays the most. And my husband even laughed at me because he saw me like dissecting the numbers. Now, you know, he's all about that because it pays a lot of our bills. But at first he was like, okay, is it really necessary to like go that deep into it? Yes, it is. No, you cannot be in my video, sorry. Someone's trying to add themselves and I don't even think he's from the United States. Which, that's okay, but I don't know you, so. So anyways, I wish I would have known that you can mold just like adults can mold. I'm dominantly red. Now 2 years ago when I first took these, I was all red and green. And blue, which is very like fun-loving, likes to have fun, likes to go out and be the life of the party. That wasn't me. I was kind of a nerd. Now I do like to go out and have fun, but with my past and with my history, I kind of squashed that side of me because I didn't think you could have fun without partying, like hardcore partying. So when I stopped drinking, the fun side kind of went, rrr. So that wasn't part of my life anymore. And then yellows are very sentimental and very emotional and very lovey-dovey and very opposite of my life. My husband's a yellow. Okay, that tells you how our household, it's very interesting sometimes. But I learned to make myself a chameleon, and the yellow and blue, which were my weaknesses, I learned to mold those into strengths. So now when I take the color test, I'm pretty much even with all of them because I've learned throughout just different leadership courses I've taken and different, I've been leading a group of people online for several years now. My husband and I just work with individuals helping them make money on social media. So you have to be a really good leader to be good at that type of job because it's all long distance. So we learned early on to make ourselves work on the colors that we weren't. So just like we can do that, our kids can also become chameleons when it comes to the learning styles. They're always going to have one that they're dominant, one that they're go-to. However, some of y'all are going to hate me on this and that's okay. If we tailor everything to their learning style, we are crippling them for when they get to the real world. Again, my daughter's a kinesthetic learner. What's going to happen when she gets to college and the professor does not come down one-on-one with her and do something hands-on just because she's not getting it when it's auditory, or audible, I mean. She's going to be left behind because no one ever taught her to learn through that. Now, I'm going to give you a couple practical ways to help kids mold into that. But I know the reason some of y'all, I just saw a couple people leave the video and it's not even a shock to me. I've heard the saying of, when they're kids, don't make them do the hard thing, because when they get older, life's hard enough. Let them be kids. I agree with that as far as like, they shouldn't, know your financial troubles and that kind of stuff. But people who raise their kids like that, and they think when they get older, they'll just automatically do the hard thing, those are the adults that are crappy employees that nobody wants to be friends with because they're always trying to freeload off of people. They're the college students that are failing everything because they only do it if they like it and it's easy. So the idea behind only making your kids do what's easy and what they enjoy is honestly very crappy parenting. Y'all, I'm a red, I told you that. But more than that, I want to help you raise your kids to be productive adults, not to be living with you when they're 30 because that's the easy thing to do. So I'm going to give you a couple practical ways. Now, if your kid is an auditory and a reading and writing learner, count your blessings, because yes, they'll learn kinesthetically because it's fun, right? Like, I love science experiments and arts and crafts and that kind of stuff because they're fun to me. But that's not I don't have to have that to learn. I love visual stuff. Again, it's fun, it's pretty, but I don't have to have that to learn. So if you have, like the little girl that was here the last 2 weeks learning, she's an auditory and a reading and writing learner. It's very evident. Like, she is the dream student. I even told her mom, I was like, she's so much easier to teach than Glory. And that's not a slam on my daughter. My daughter just takes a lot more work in the teaching part because of the way that she learns, and that's fine. They're both going to have their strengths, they're both going to have their weaknesses. So if you have a kid who's kinesthetic or visual, and you want them to become a little bit more of an auditory learner, and again, you're not forcing anything. All you're doing is repetition that's going to help them start retaining information that way. Do a lot of read-alouds and asking questions. Now, I'm not saying you make them sit and, you read 30 minutes to them. But at least once a day, we go read a book together. And I'm not talking a school book. I'm talking like a fun, today we read Caillou, which, by the way, I think is the most annoying child ever in the history of children. But my daughter loves him. She's not allowed to watch a TV show. He whines way too much and gets away with it. We don't condone that. But through the book, you can kind of use it as a learning tool. Like today, we're reading, and it was time for him to go to bed. And he's like, no, Mom, no. I was like, oh, Glory, do we tell Mom no when it's bedtime? No, he is not obeying. Like, you can ask questions throughout the book, and it just gets them used to listening and retaining the information. If you want to help them become more of a reading and writing learner and use that as a tool, a couple things you can do is when you are doing, when you're doing like art projects, or science even. Like, we did science last week and we drew some ocean animals. Have them label those animals. Have them write it out. Now, it's an extra step. It's not quite as fun, but it's just getting them used to learning and equating reading and writing with not something they dread. When they get a little older and you're doing fun science experiments or art projects, again, have them read the directions and then tell it back to you. So that way they're getting used to reading the information, retaining it, being able to explain it. So it's just little things you do over and over that the kid doesn't even realize that you're helping them learn in another style. They just think, okay, well, duh, I've got to read the directions to do the experiment. So you're helping them without pushing it on them. Visual. Now, again, this is something that's a little bit easier, but if you're wanting them to become a little bit more of a visual learner, you can have them graph things. I do this with Glory a lot. So graphing like so-and-so has 4 red balls and so-and-so has, 7 red balls. Draw a graph to show who has more. So-and-so has 3 fish and so-and-so has 7 turtles. Draw a chart, I guess, to see who has more. Like, you can make up whatever you want at that point. Flashcards. For Spanish, we do a lot of flashcards, so that's another way that I'm encouraging her to learn through visual versus touching. So, and then kinesthetic, you really, again, that's something you don't really have to teach because that is a fun way of learning. Like if a kid is an audible learner or a hands-on, or a, reading and writing learner, they're going to be able to learn through hands-on also. If they love visuals, they're going to be able to learn through hands-on. Like that's not something you really have to teach as much as if you have someone on the other end of the spectrum where they really only learn hands-on. You've really got to work at the other two before they get too old, so that way, again, you're not crippling them for life. Guys, I'm sorry. When your kinesthetic kid goes in for a job interview and he can't listen, he's got to sit there, with a ball or something in his hands playing, he's probably not going to get the job. So you've got to teach them to be able to sit and decompress. But understanding the 4 and understanding the different ways that you can help your kid just be able to learn through all 4 avenues is really going to help them later on. And it's going to help you as a teacher, because trust me, kinesthetic learning is so much fun and it takes so much extra work on your part. For, I would say the first year, I tailored everything to her. Math, phonics, whatever, I made it into something she could touch. And it was a lot of extra work. And then I realized she's not retaining information at all unless it comes through her in the avenue that she prefers, or that she's used to, or that comes easy, that comes natural. So I had to really get out of my comfort zone and be like, okay, how can I help her learn and retain information through other avenues? So, guys, I hope this helped, especially if you're a first-time homeschooler. Just take comfort in knowing it's going to be trial and error. But this information will at least help you to start seeing some of the signs. If you've never heard of the 4 different learning processes, see some of the signs like, okay, how can I pinpoint what kind of learner my kid is? And like I said, if you want to share this, if you want in the drawing, share and just comment below down that you shared. We are giving away a gratitude journal. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.